Welcome to ANZCRL Combined Racing League's Xbox Assetto Corsa Competitions only 2.4 hours of Spa. I'm your host Woody Lizard and we're looking forward to this event. We've got 20 cars on the grid and I just might make sure that I
green light, go, go, go.
Mute my voice chat, so there we go, so no one else can hear it. So we're just hitting the 10-minute qualifying session, and this is the first time that we are running the Assetto Corsa Competitions only Spa 2.4 hours. We have had the 2.4 or 24-hour race in some sort of format on the Project Cars 2 game on the Xbox, so this is the 5th edition of this endurance race with these GT3 cars. So all the cars are using official liveries as they're all coming out of the pit as we speak now. So the fast man early on was this man here, Not Fast Halley, in practice. He's driving the number 28 BMW of the ST Racing. And he managed a 2-minute 18.640 during practice. Second up was Tanda Sports. He was only 0.2 of a second behind. He's in another BMW in the number 98. As we'll run down and see where he's on the circuit there. So he's in the Rowe Motorsports car, Rowe Racing. Hope you enjoyed this stream. We've obviously had the earlier stream back early in the year with the 1.2 hour Bathurst race, and Not Fast Halley was the winner at that race as well. So can anyone challenge Halley tonight? We'll shortly find out. Obviously Halley will be doing his utmost best to put his car on pole position. Highlander 1777, he'll be looking for revenge if he can. He finished 37 seconds behind Halley at the Bathurst race. He was in the Audi for that race. This time he's in the McLaren. So we'll see if he can go that little bit further. Obviously a lot longer race. The 1.2 hour race was over an hour 20 minutes. So they're putting an extra hour to their race tonight. And this is also shaping up for ANZCRL. Nürburgring 4-hour driver swap race that they're going to run next week. So make sure if you're on Xbox Xbox ACC, make sure that you hit up ANZCRL, Australian Xbox Racing League, on Discord, as they're going to host their Nürburgring 4-hour driver swap. And you can actually find that out also on the SimGrid, I believe, on the website. So if you head out onto the SimGrid website and search ANZCRL, or even on the Xbox platform for ACC, and look for events coming up, and you should see all the links there to their Discord as well, and you get an entry in with one of your fellow drivers. I think they've got 16 teams so far signed up for that event, so that should be a really good run for the Xbox sim racers out there that love to try and challenge themselves with the driver swap. So you need to register with the SimGrid, and it tells you all the instructions how to do that. I think you need to get your little Xbox number tag or something like that and put that in your sign up. So we should start seeing some times filter in very shortly as we look at RRL Outback. He was another driver that was up and down during the Bathurst 1.2 hour. Ended up finishing 12th in the Lexus, so he's back again for revenge and see if he can do a little bit better. He ended up with 4 laps down. I can't remember if he had a couple of disconnects or something going on with his connection during that race, but he was mixing it with the guys in the leaders as they're coming to lap him. He definitely had some pace, so we're sure to see him probably feature a little bit during this race tonight. 5 minutes remaining, and we've already got a time in by Darklog, 2 minute 21.532. And if I just hit the drive go button, it should pick up. Oh, it's just decided to change the cars on. And we want to try and find RRL back as he was going to come over the line. Here he is. And what does he do? A 2:22.522. Maybe best for me to actually just stay on for looking at that. And this view here at the moment, because you can see the leaderboard. So Not Fast Halley puts it up on provisional pole at this stage with a 2:19 almost dead flat. 005 for those Brock fans. 05. There's a number coming out there. Big Gilson is out in the Porsche. And he's running the Rutronic, I think it is, Rutronic Racing Porsche. So obviously all these are in-game liveries, official liveries for this event. Just to spice it up a bit, make it a bit easier so drivers didn't have to worry about making their own little custom cars. They could just pick one that looks good and give it a good go. Nürburger 79. Puts it up on second position at the moment in another 24 Porsche. So Big Gills knows that the Porsche's got some pace there. He's just got to try and extract a little bit out of it. So we've only got 8 drivers so far setting times in this short 10-minute qualifying session. Now, a few things about the race, why we're in qualifying mode at the moment. It's obviously a 2 hours 25-minute times race with ×10 time progression. The race start time is for 3 p.m. But obviously with a full formation lap, the start of the green flag should be around 4 p.m. like they did in real life. I believe 4 p.m. they do for the Spa 24 hour. So that is how it is all set up at the stage. Dry weather, cloud, light cloud, I think 22 degrees. And as I said, the damage is 100%. Tyre and fuel consumption is on. Unlimited sets of tyres, which is not a really big thing here. But the big thing that they must do is there's 4 mandatory pit stops for fuel only. So, and there's no set stop time. So the reason why they decided on the 4 mandatory pit stops for fuel only is because the ×10 time progression, as the sun goes down into the night, there is a big swing in temperature change. So the drivers will be using that at their advantage to when they're going to pit in. Will they pit in the first 20 minutes when you see a big drop off in temperature? In around that 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the race, will we see drivers start pitting for fresh tyres with a lower track temperature? And obviously they need tyres with more pressure in them to try and keep those tyres operating within their preferred pressure setting. And then will we see some drivers maybe opt into double stint during the night when those temperatures for about 45 minutes to an hour stabilise? They probably only change 1 or 2 degrees. So they'll get back to their normal type of sim racing, league racing where they run for about an hour. Will they opt for when they make a mandatory stop during the night in the early mornings of the next day? Will they opt for just a fuel and leave those tyres on? So there'll be a few strategies. Will we see some late pit stops to get those tyres if they're ballooning out because of temperature change? Will they get those new tyres late in the race for a last 15-minute dash? I think it's roughly 25 minutes or so. where the temperatures do stabilise at the remaining of the race. So a lot of these things these drivers would have liked to have hopefully have practiced for this race. We've got a mixture, so it's like an inter-club race. We've got the shakedowners, we've got, as we said, ANZCRL, the Australian Xbox Racing League, ANZCRL, we've got 7 drivers for ANZ Combined Racing League. And then we also have, as we're just seeing now that the times are starting to still filter through. We're still waiting for another 5 drivers to set a time. But just getting back to the other drivers, we've got also MARL, which is Missed Apex Racing League. And I think there's 4 or 5 drivers representing that league. So we've got the 4 different leagues here for Australia, New Zealand sim races on console on the Xbox. And they're going to score points down from first down to last place. And the winning team with the most points at the end of the night will win a free G-Portal monthly subscription for a server rental for their league. So the scoring points will be basically 30 points for first, and they'll go down by 1 point down per position. And we'll add those all up for each of the individual leagues, and the highest points for that league will find themselves with that G-Portal free monthly subscription rental. So Night Havoc didn't actually was the only driver that looks like he didn't get a lap in there. So there we go. So there's our grid order. I'll just take a quick photo so we can keep an eye on this during the race, because it's a long race to go. And it's going to be a full formation lap. So the drivers will start getting a little bit nervy now as the big time's about to happen. And we're on schedule, which is very good. So we're looking to have this wrapped up just before 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Probably a little bit before that, as the race should be moving on fairly smoothly at the moment. So Smooth Tommy's just going over the line, so we may be just waiting for him. Is he going to get over for that time? He gets up into 3rd position. I think he was already in 3rd, but we'll just have a quick look at that. Yeah, he was already in 3rd, so he did better his time though. He bettered his time by about 3/10 roughly. It just wasn't enough in the end. So are we still waiting for Night Havoc, or I think that is all over? So we'll have Not Fast Hallie, who is running for Shakedown in 1st position. Then Tanda Sports, who is running with Missed Apex Racing League. Smooth Tommy is a Shakedowner. So 2 Shakedowners in the top 3. Nurburger is also another Shakedowner. So we've already got 3 Shakedowners in the top 4. Ripping Aura, and that's a Missed Apex Racing League. So he comes in. Jay Tilley, and he's another Shakedowner. So Shakedowners are represented up in the top 6 by quite a few. And then we have Dark Racing and Commander Jim, both for ANZCRL in 7th and 8th. Outback is 30 seconds. Running for another Shakedown. So, geez, the Shakedowner guys are up at the pointy end. They've got plenty in the top 10. Dark Lord for ANZCRL, as is Highlander. Keep It Tidy. He's running for ANZCRL, so he is the 2nd of the ANZCRL guys. And Stainless, I believe, is also for Shakedown. So I better hit that start button just in case anything happens to me. So here we go. So they're about to do their formation, and I think one driver may not have got himself ready. So we might have one driver starting in pit lane, not too sure there. So we've got drivers now just starting to move off the grid for their full formation lap. Yes, there's evidence there. One car is going to have to start from pit lane who didn't ready up in time. We'll try and pick up to see who that may be in pit lane as we go through the cars, and it looks like, oh, it's not Jim Beam. It is Night Havoc. So Night Havoc hasn't been able to get going, as he is now rejoined back into the lobby. So we got, he is joined there in pit lane. So definitely, guys, let me know who you are barracking for. So T-Bone has asked how many cars have entered. We've got 20 cars on the grid. So make sure that you have a look to see who your driver may be that you'd like to see. And as we do know that one driver will be starting from pit lane, but it's not Fast Halley, who has definitely got it on pole with Tanda Sports behind him. As they're just ghosting through as they're warming up their tyres. As Not Fast Halley is known for his little drift skills and getting those tyres up to pressure early on, but as you can see, that time is going through pretty fast. This is the times 10 time progression up the top of your screens, 3:36, 3:37 p.m. As we said, predicted to start around 4 p.m. as they get around this full formation lap. Basically every 30 minutes is around about 5 hours in game time. So Not Fast Halley's already got one of the inter-club battles in his mantle, on his winner's mantelpiece, after winning the Bathurst 1.2 earlier in the year. With Highlander 1777 coming home in second in that race. Highlander is in the top 10. I mean, just out of the top 10, qualified 11th. So here we go, coming up to the final part as the drivers are getting ready, as he is now coming on through Blanchimont. Jim Beam in the McDonald's. Now it's going to be interesting. Some of these cars have got liveries where they don't actually have the endurance lights on the front of the car. So normally the BMWs have the little enduro lights below the main lights on the front spoiler. And this one definitely showing where he doesn't have any. So here we go, we're about to start the race. 3:52 p.m. at the moment, and we're going to have 24 hours of racing in the game, 2 hours 25 minutes. Here at ANZCRL, sit back, enjoy as we're waiting for the green lights, and it's going to be Not Fast Halley that will take them down for the start of the race. And I got all excited because they still need to get through La Source and take the starting line of the endurance. I was thinking of Formula One for a second, and we got Night Havoc just sitting there waiting for it to start. He will be annoyed that he didn't ready up on time, but it's a long race and he's going to avoid any little misadventures, especially going into Lacombe. We do find that that's a little bit how you go, but here we go, we're waiting for the green. That's 4 p.m. on the clock.
Green light.
And it's green light, go, go, go. And Not Fast Halley. And look at Tanda Sports really putting the pressure on early on as they come up through Radion and over the top and down the Camel Straight we go for the first time. And they're all trying to sort themselves out down the mid-pack. But it's not Fast Halley who is going to get through Lecombe first, which is a good confidence boost, that's for sure. As they're just going to take a while to reset themselves. Once they get through the sectors, we should have a better understanding of all the correct positions. Power the camera there, but yeah, definitely let me know who you're going for, guys, if you're watching. I'll make sure we check out some of the other action. As Jim Beam there in 17th position in the McDonald's livery. Perfect time, as most of the eastern states are around 7:30 p.m. almost, so time for a little bit of what do you call it, DoorDash or some McDelivery. Get some McDelivery to your house. And he's in 17th position. And already, look at this, You Don't Know Deer has come unstuck somewhere, and he does not look healthy in that 46 BMW. So an early pit stop is probably on the cards for You Don't Know Deer. And was that just a case of getting in amongst a little bit too close up the pack? Obviously we did not see that, but with 20 cars on the start, these little incidents can happen. And just in front of him, I think, is Purple Wave as well, so we're not too sure if he was involved. So it's not Fast Halley that's coming on through now. And he's definitely got some competition tonight early on with Tanda Sports, and not Smooth Tommy isn't too far behind either in 3rd position. There's Night Havoc there in 16th. Commander Jim is 6th position at the moment. Now he's had a good little start. He started in 8th, so up in 2 spots on the first lap. Dark Racing coming up through the field. He's actually dropped. He started in 7th and he's down in 11th. So, and you can see some marks on his car. So evidence of him whacking the wall. Maybe he got involved. We're not too sure. If I return back to the garage so we can see this full leaderboard. Track temperature at the moment 30 degrees, and it's optimum, so we'll see this temperature drop as the afternoon and the evening comes into effect. But it's Nürburgring 79 putting a little bit of pressure on Shakedown boss man Smooth Tommy. Go on board with Nürburgring as he's chasing down. Oh, and he's giving him a little bit of a touch, and that's going to send Smooth Tommy around, and he's dropping down the positions. Oh, he's fighting back with Jay Tilley side by side, but it's going to be Smooth Tommy that holds off there. Will we see Nürburgring give that position back to Smooth Tommy? There was a little bit of a bump and run, but they could be also in a bit of voice chat, and maybe Smooth Tommy, as they're both part of Shakedown, may say, well, you just see how you go out in front of me now. trace the position back. So nice, respectful driving there by Nürburger. He's a man that's been in league racing for some time now, so he does know what's expected when those little things do happen. So he's now back in the battle, but this is a three-way battle of Porsches with Jay Tilley as well. So the shakedowners, 3, 4 and 5, and let's not forget Not Fast Halley leading the race. So the top, we've got the first 5, the top 5, 4 shakedowners. And then obviously Tanda Sports for Missed Apex Racing League in second spot. The Dark Racing is in pit lane early on now, getting repairs done to that car, as is RRL Outback. Stainless is also in the pit lane, 2 laps down already. So there's a few cars already having some problems as drivers are dropping down the order. But Dark Lord, 7 seconds away from Commander Jim. We've got a battle of the Audi versus the McLaren. Just looking at Highlander there in position 14 at the moment. He's just trying to zone himself in, keeping out of trouble. He said he has got the experience of endurance racing. And he's just come off also winning, coming second in the Porsche Carrera Cup on AMS2 on the PC. So he's on a bit of a high at the moment, and obviously we'll be looking forward to finding if that McLaren can finish in the top 5, if not better, by the end of this race. And that's one thing he will do. He will keep this constant pace and play the long game, that's for sure. He's keep it tidy. Just chasing down, or just following Pickle. As it wants to go back to Nürburger for us, but he there just put a lap on You Don't Know Deer, who we did see have a very second-hand looking front end. There's Big Gilson in 18th position. He's started in 17th, so he's just dropped down 1 position, but doing a good job because he's obviously still on the lead lap. And Jet Choco, Jet Pilot in the Aston Martin. I think it's not too bad, some of these cameras, but not a fan of this going out of focus, to be honest, on some of these camera views that we get. These are probably the better ones, the trackside following the car. So he's got his last lap was a 4 minutes 55, as I think he was one of the drivers that may have been in pit lane. So this is an out lap that he had the previous lap. Let's see what he does. He's obviously got to get past this part of the circuit and go down through the tight right hander of La Source. As his time actually just comes in through that part of the circuit. So there you go, 2 minute 24. So a little bit off the pace. go Dark Lord. He's in battle still with Commander Jim, but he's also got Don't Know Deer, who is a lap down, but has got a lot of pace. And obviously wants to try and get through. And then Pickle, who's in 7th position, is just up behind You Don't Know Deer in the Bentley. So let's see if we can find Pickle. Without me have to go back. There we go. So here we go in the big Bentley. The only Bentley I believe entered. It actually looks fairly good on circuit. A little bit of a scrape mark down the left-hand side. So we've only just gone through the first 12 minutes of this race. And there's already been a little bit of action with obviously a big player of You Don't Know Deer. We didn't see what happened, but obviously involved in a little bit of an accident in the first lap and needing to pit for damage repairs. As it's all for the inter-club battle, he'll want to continue on and try and get whatever points he can get for his league, which I believe You Don't Know Deer is running for Mr. Apex Racing League. And they have 5 representative drivers for the Spa 2.4. We hope to see some of these drivers join ANZCRL's Nürburgring 4-hour driver swap next weekend. So if you're not too sure about that, or you don't know about it, make sure you go over and see them on Discord, or go to SimGrid on the website and search on the Xbox ACC platform, and you should be able to see the race details and be able to enter. But you need to register with the SimGrid first, so you need to do all those things. As this is a very nice battle here. So Pickle 351 has got his Bentley coming along here and putting a good challenge now on Dark Lord for position 6. That afternoon sun's just starting to filter in as we look at Pickle 351 hard at work. For a split second as we get onto our dash cam and look at him working the back of Dark Lord. Comes out of Stavelot. And now this is a very tricky corner. Will he be flat out through here in Walchimont? Just a little lift. And just in front of these guys, obviously in position 5, is Commander Jim. So enjoy a lap, guys, around here in the Spa-Francorchamps. On board Pickle 351 in the number 17 Parker Racing Bentley Continental GT3 as he goes for a move in La Source. Dark Lord gets that power of the McLaren in front. I'll leave you for an onboard lap and enjoy. There you go, a lap aboard Pickle 351. And he's doing a great job there. Just in front of Jay Tilley, who is coming behind at a rate of knots in this Porsche as well. As he's having a little look. Snuck up fairly quickly. So Jay Tilley in the Porsche having a look down the inside. Will he make a move? Yes, he does. So Jay Tilley on the move up into 7th position. That was a nice move into Lacombe as well. I got a good run out of Radion and down the Kemmel Straight. And he's obviously got pace to burn, Jay Tilley. He'll be wanting to see if he can get in front of Dark Lord and then attack Commander Jim, who's 13 seconds behind. You can see on the screen there from Nürburger in 4th position. And, not fast Halley's still in front. But the man on the move at the moment is this man, Jay Tilley, so we'll keep an eye on him. The track temperature now at 22 degrees, so I think we've dropped 4 degrees. It was 26 at the start. So these are the temperature changes that have happened, and we're roughly 19 minutes into the race. Or just running wide. Out of the curve of Paul Freya. Four-way battle, people, for 5th position. Welcome to Saturday night's Spa 2.4 hour as in comes Jay Tilley into the bus stop and moves up into 6th position. Thank you very much. And I don't think it's going to be too long until we see him in the top 5 at this rate of knots. Great driving by Mr. Jay Tilley. Is in pit lane as they go filtering past the pit lane area. You can see him there in the background. So he's in 15th position. Just showing his nose. Welcome to the stream, people. If you're enjoying the stream, please let me know. Let me know if there's any drivers that you are supporting or any league. Are you supporting the Shakedown League? Are you supporting ANZCRL, AXRL, or Mr. Apex Racing League? Let us know. And I'll make sure I keep you informed of how your leagues are going. But look at Jay Tilley doing his thing in the number 54 Dynamic GT Huber Racing. And he's another one of the shakedowners, so shakedowners are doing fairly well at this stage of the race. Tilly himself working hard behind that wheel, but he's also working the back of Commander Jim fairly hard here. They're going to come flying into launch him on. Is he flat out? No, a little lift in the turn just to get those front tyres to bite. It's a rear engine car, so just coming off that throttle will just help and maybe pitch in a little bit. It'll get those front tyres to grip. If you just come off the throttle bit, it'll probably lift up a little bit of the wheels as well as he comes in deep into the source, but manages to avoid any contact. And he's leaving Dark Lord behind there. Oh, and Commander Jim's had a moment, and so has Jay Tilley. But has he been able to keep it going there side by side down the Kemmel Straight? But it's going to be Jay Tilley, but Commander Jim's fighting back down the inside, but no thinks better of it, I think. He's still looking a little bit racy there, Commander Jim, but I think he's safe just to hold position here. It's a long way to go still. So we're starting to get to that afternoon, late after, well, it's the evening, but as we know in the Northern Hemisphere, during their summer, they have long days, short nights. So the night is still a little bit away. We've still got a little bit of sunshine to get through, which will probably be starting to affect some of the drivers. Looks at this stage that Jay Tilley is being able to now just find that little gap, but just behind him is this battle for the 5th position between Commander Jim and Dark Lord. But it's this man here, not Fast Halley, in front, as he's putting a few of the back markers down a lap. And he's got himself a nice 3 to 4 second margin to Tanda Sports in second place in the second of the BMWs. There you go, the track temperature now 20 degrees Celsius, so that'll start affecting some of the tyres. They're starting to lose a bit of pressure, get deflated. Tanda Sports is doing a very good job in second place. Not Fast Halley, he's a very consistent driver, so you've got to limit those mistakes if you want to challenge Halley. As we've seen him very rarely make too many mistakes, so you've got to be on the A game when you come up against Halley from shakedown. Fairly aggressive driver. You saw at the start as well. He was made sure that Tanda, he didn't leave any opening for Tanda going into El Rouge, the start of the race. We've got Stainless 4 laps down, maybe 3 laps down, depending where he is on the track. I think he's just 3 laps down, so he was only just got lapped again from Not Fast Halley. So currently 3 laps down. But Ripping Aura is just in front of him as he is coming out of the Kemmel Straight into Lecombe. So you guys watching, how cold do you think it's going to get during the night here in Belgium for the Spa 2.4? Currently 20 degrees. And I think that is where we are about 8 p.m. in game time. As Dark Lord has come into pit lane for a scheduled stop by the looks of things. Keep it tidy. Oops. Keep it tidy is doing a good job in second position as the other drivers have come into pit. So 8:30 p.m. in game time now, so it's definitely that time where we will start seeing the sun set. Just see that sun's just a little bit in his eyes. That glow. Oh, and that's Commander Jim lifted around. And that is around the corner with no name, turn 9. We'll be coming into Kuon now. And look at that beautiful sunset before it ducks down below the hill, the mountains. Next time around, you'll probably see the sun below that mountain, times 10 time progression. So keep it tidy. On tracks made up a position to Commander Jim. We know that Night Havoc, I think it was, is pitted. Actually, not Night Havoc, it was just trying to think who it was. It was Dark Lord, sorry, in the McLaren, who came out of that battle. Working hard in the cockpit here as he hits the bus stop. And he's going fairly well in the number 66 team of Tempo Racing Audi R8 LMS Evo 2. And he's getting himself set for this night run. So remember, 4 mandatory stops these drivers need to take. You can see down on the bottom left, you can see in the yellow column, you can see RR Elkbach has a 3. So he's had one of his mandatory stops cleared, and that was from that earlier stop for damage, we believe. And all the others are still yet to pit that have got the number 4 beside their race number. So the mandatory stop is for fuel only. It's not fuel and tyres. It looks like on our screens, if the Delta is true to its word, he's up a little bit here in the first sector. I think using these official liveries make it look fairly good as well on the screens. Let us know what you think. There's a lot of leagues, obviously, you do see running their own custom liveries that they can make up in the game on console. Oh, as he's had a little moment here, he's been able to keep it under control, but is this because we're just starting as he goes through Fangs? Is it just because those tyres are starting to get out of their operating window? Will we see Keep It Tidy in pit lane as Commander Jim? We saw Commander Jim already make a mistake the previous lap. He was around sideways when we were on board Keep It Tidy. And I think that you'll probably see these drivers hit in pit lane and getting these fresh tyres probably with the boosted tyre pressure set. Will he visit pit lane here? Will he keep to the right? No, he's going to do another lap. And so is Commander Jim. So they've obviously just made a little bit of a drive error. They're thinking that things are okay. Dark Racing in 14th position. He came in early as well for some damage, I think on lap 2 or 3. And cleared one of those mandatory stops. And he's racing for ANZCRL. Haven't seen much of Purple Wave at the moment. In 11th, doing a good job. Yet to have one of his first stops, but he is in the number 32 Team WRT car, driving for ANZCRL as well. So doing a good job. And he's running for another extra lap. Ripping Aura has already had 2 of his mandatory stops, down in 17th position. And it looks like we've still got the 20 starters. You'll see up on the top left 21. That's because one spot is allocated for myself as a spectator. As you can see now, 9:30 p.m. almost in game, and we've still got light in the sky. Wouldn't you like that back in the day when you were kids, when your mum used to say to you, make sure you're home by the street lights are on? Well, the street lights probably will only just be coming on very shortly, and it's 9:30 p.m. at night. Not bad. You'll be riding around the street still on your bicycle or riding your skateboard. I don't think they'll have that comment from a lot of the families in the Northern Hemisphere of being home before it's dark. So Purple Wave, I think, is about 8 seconds behind Highlander, who we said before, who will just keep it cool. He started in 11th, currently in 10th, and he's also had his mandatory stop as well, you can see there. So he's looking fairly good. Oh, as you can just see those tyres now scrubbing out as he came into the entry of turns 12 and 13 at Fangs. And now he's coming through Stavelot. So I really think some of these drivers should be thinking about pit stops. Look at this. His last lap was a 2:31. You can see on the top of your left-hand side of the screen. Probably 4 and a bit seconds off his best time of a 2:26.9 so far in the race. So you can see how the tyre pressures are costing him time and slowing him down. So he just hasn't got that grip. And he decides he's going to go one more again. So Commander Jim is yet to pit as well. He's in 6th position. So it looks like there he's following the leaders, you could say. And we'll have a look at the leaderboard there. So it looks like we have got one driver now retired, unfortunately. We've got the 19 runners. So that's unfortunate to see. But it's Not Fast Halley's still leading this race and yet to pit. And Nürburger following him still in 2nd position. And he may be going in the pits. He's a fair way behind now from Not Fast Halley as the driver that may... Not too sure who might have dropped out there. We got Tanda Sports, who was running 2nd at the time. He has had his first mandatory stop. So he's currently running 9th. So that's good to sort of tell. He was around about 4 seconds away from Not Fast Halley. So Highlander about 22 seconds away from Sport, who'd be running effectively a second position. Shows that Highlander's made up a few spots by pitting early for these tyres, so a little smart move by Highlander, but hopefully those tyres aren't causing him some grief now, as the track temperature now 18 degrees. So since the start of the race, it's dropped 8 degrees in, what could you say, almost half an hour, about 30 minutes, not quite 30 minutes yet. So that's the big temperature change. Now I think it gets down to, maybe, I asked the question, how low do you think it goes? Well, I think it's around 16, 15 degrees maybe. So there's not a huge swing for temperatures talking now for at least probably roughly an hour. There'll probably be a little swing here or there, but not too much. So the drivers can really settle in now and not worry about tyre pressures as such, and just get on and drive, as they're going to have to concentrate now as the sun's going down. It's starting to get a little bit dark here in Spa, and they got to start thinking and getting into that groove. Don't forget, they started off with a 30-minute practice, then the 10-minute qualifying. So they have been already sitting in the sim for over an hour. But we're waiting to see when this man decides to pit. So he is still running. And what's his strategy? This is very interesting. What is his strategy that he's running? Because he's still out there, and let's actually see if we can go on board with Not Fast Hully. Let's have a look. So his best lap time, which is the fastest of the race, at 2:18.8. That is absolutely flying, but his last was just 2:19.7, so he's not that much slower than his fastest time, people. So he's quite comfortable with his tyres at the moment. So maybe, did he have him a bit over pressurised at the start, and now it's starting to reap rewards now because he can go a little bit longer. He's just battling a little bit, that car, for a bit of traction. He's got Ripping Aura just in front of him. A little flash of the light already from Halley. And he's got his enduro lights on. It's very bright. And Halley does know that he's obviously got to keep a move on. Because he's also, as we know, has got Tanda Sport, who pitted earlier, as Ripping Aura just lets him through. It's nice driving by Ripping Aura. Just look at him pull away from Ripping Aura as well. The traction that he's got coming out of these slow corners are just amazing. He's pulling away at a rate of knots there, and obviously getting some fast time. Bad at all from Not Fast Halley. Almost 270 kilometres an hour at the end of the Kemmel Straight. We're on board. The Bathurst 1.2 hour winner from early in the year. And he's now trying to make it a 2 from 2 for these inter-club little endurance races. And the next one is going to be hosted by our good friends over at ANZCRL, so make sure you have a look at that, guys. And that's going to be the Nürburgring 4-hour with driver swaps. So if you haven't experienced driver swaps yet on console, on ACC, make sure you have a look at them. And they've got all the information on the SimGrid website. Register there on SimGrid and make sure you put in some filters and look for the Xbox ACC game, and you should hopefully see ANZCRL come up, and they will have their link to their Discord and all the information. So grab a partner, grab a mate, and get in amongst the 4-hour of Nürburgring next weekend for Australia and New Zealand sim races. So we've just gone past the half an hour mark, and let's bring up the, we'll just see if we see Halley come in for a pit stop. No, he doesn't, so he's still going out on his own really at the moment. And Smooth Tommy, a fellow shakedowner. We've got 3 shakedowners in the top 3 at the moment, and they've all yet to pit. Got the first 7 drivers all yet to take their first mandatory stop. So it's Not Fast Halley in first position, then Smooth Tommy in second, third Nürburger, fourth Keep It Tidy, Commander Jim in 5th position, Night Havoc in 6th. And he's not too far away actually from Commander Jim, as they're running side by side in the Team Audi cars. But Jim Beam and then Tanda Sports, who is effectively second place. And depending on his pace as well, he may even be very close to Not Fast Halley when Halley comes out of the pits, when he does just choose to make that stop. So we'll keep an eye on the 98 of Tanda Sports as well. Dark Lord in 9th, Jay Tilley in 10th, Purple Wave in 11th, Highlander in the pit lane again. Wonder if that's for damage, or is this just a scheduled stop? Get some of these mandatory stops, get those tyres on, and run through the night. So he's just in pit lane, as is Pickle in the Bentley, the lone Bentley. And we've had 2 drivers already retire from this race. Hopefully, if it's been a disconnect, they may find themselves back in the race by reconnecting. We'd love to have them back in. But anyway, Big Gills is coming into the pits for his first scheduled stop. So hits the 50km/h line. And you don't want to be speeding. You don't want to get a drive through. It's a slow pit lane. Look at the traverse time it is. It's so long. You've got to go through the GP garages. And it just takes eternity, as Smooth Tommy's in as well. So Smooth Tommy is already in his bay, getting some fuel and tyres. And Not Fast Halley's coming around the bus stop. So he's almost going to put a lap on Smooth Tommy by the looks of things here. So electrifying pace by Halley early on. I'm amazed how fast he's still going at this stage of the race. So he's roughly 1.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds roughly, slower than his best time. So that's not too bad whatsoever here on lap 19. And we're getting close to the strike of midnight in game time. Started with 2 hours 25 minutes on the clock. Race duration, we're into 1 hour 40 remaining. As we look at Night Havoc in 4th position, as Nürburger is in the pits. So will we see the likes of Keep It Tidy and Night Havoc electing to come into pit lane? We can just see Keep It Tidy going around the bus stop in front of Night Havoc. So these drivers are happy, the 3 Audis. But look at the difference. They're doing 223s compared to Halley's 220s. So there's 3 seconds slower a lap at this stage from the man leading this race. Now at this rate, from Not Fast Halley, he's almost going to put a lap on the whole field. And that hasn't been done at all for ANZCRL Combined Racing League since we've been running the Spa 2.4, even on the Xbox Project cars. We came oh so close in 2021, I think it was, with Colonel Lloyd. It was only 2 cars that stayed on the same lap. It was him and Dredd that were the only cars that finished on the lead lap. It was 2020 it was, when Colonel Lloyd drove the McLaren 650S on Project Cars 2. And at the same time, he did a race lap record of 2:16.814. But remember, that is on Project Cars 2. So those cars are a little bit faster in the game to what these cars are. And we love the night lights, the Enduro purple lights, so the drivers can see a little bit of their dash without interfering with them while they're driving. A nice clear starry night out there. Purple Wave is in the pit lane, position 10. So we're on board Keep It Tidy, who's still going around without taking that mandatory stop yet. And he's running with ANZCRL in the number 66 team of Tempo Racing, Evo 2, Audi R8. And there we go, it is midnight, guys. As soon as I say it, we're 1 minute past the hour of midnight, and we go into the new day. And what's the new day going to bring? We don't know yet. So Purple Wave in pit lane, Commander Jim coming up, I believe, to Lacombe, I think it is. Yes, it is. So he's just going down the Kemmel Straight. Elects to go through here because he's just got to get careful of that rejoin so the car doesn't get unsettled. Looks like it's okay. So we've got to stop go 30 already for Purple Wave. So that might have been, we were on board him earlier, so that could have been for a drive for speeding in pit lane. Usually the case, so that's not going to sit well with him and the team, but it will help this man, Dark Racing, to gain an easy spot. His best lap, Darky, so we'll keep on board Darky because his best lap was the previous lap around with a 2:21.6. So let's see if he can get into the 2:20s. He's up at the moment, and it will show if this delta that we've seen up the top left is correct. Sometimes it plays around in the spectator view. Don't know, dear. I believe it's one of the drivers I think is retired from the race from Missed Apex Racing League. So Dark is keeping it together here, seeing if he can get into these 220. He's on the verge of it. We've just got to find a little bit of time. Is he going to go flat through here? Launching might be, just a little lift. Costing him a little bit of time. Most of the cars do need a lift though, unless they're really giving it on a qualifying lap. But can he make up some time here through the bus stop? It's looking like it. Can he get the power on? Oh, it's going to be oh so close if he's going to dip into the 20s. 21.170, but Darky is on a charge at the moment as Purple Wave comes in for his stop-go. So Darky picks up a position there. He's 12 seconds away from Pickle 351, but we have got the leader in for the race. Keep it tidy now. So Not Fast Halley has gone into the pit lane and he's come out in third position. So unbelievable pace from that man. So he's just coming through Puon. And let's pick up where Smooth Tommy is. So Smooth Tommy is on the Camel Straight. And Tanda Sports, he's had an extra pit stop already. So that's why we've seen him a bit further down in 9th position. So that's interesting. So I wonder if that was for damage or if that's for a strategy call. But it's this man here, Keep It Tidy, who's leading the race at this stage. And is he going to keep another lap going? No, I thought for a minute there he was going to then go for a pit stop, but no, he's staying out. And Not Fast Halley, as Night Havoc goes in the pits, is just behind him. So he's not too far away. 5 seconds actually behind. So that previous lap we had of a 221.9. That was his last lap. It must have been invalidated because his best lap is a 222 as one of the drivers just comes out of pit lane. I think it was Jay Tilley in the Porsche. Yes, it was. So Jay Tilley in 10th spot. So we've got 9 cars on the lead lap at this stage, and what are we trying to think of how long we are into the race now? About 45 minutes roughly into the race, just under 45 into the race. So it's a hot pace out there, ladies and gentlemen. Keep It Tidy, he's doing his thing at the moment. But one would think that he's probably going to elect to pit very shortly, as he's probably one of the only drivers yet to stake a first stop. Actually, it looks like Commander Jim is also, who's in 3rd position, yet to stop. So I hope you're enjoying the coverage here of ANZCRL Spa 2.4, our inaugural race on ACC, but our 5th edition of running this special event. We only just ran the event also on AMS2 last weekend, and that was won by Gun 180 in a Mercedes AMG on AMS2. As in comes now Keep It Tidy. So just getting back to our race that we ran on AMS2. We had Gun 180 win the race, 23 seconds in front of Jay Barrett. Same format. They got through to 61 laps. Obviously that game as well. Again, the drivers can get a little bit faster with a lap time of a 2:17.9. on AMS2 compared to what we've seen. Not Fast Halley, who's leading the race again. I think it's a 2:18 point something or other. So about a second a bit faster on AMS2. and was run the same thing, 2 hours 25 minutes at times 10 time progression. But one thing that they didn't have to do is the 4 mandatory stops, so that's one thing that we must say as well. So the lap count for this will probably be around about 59, maybe due to those extra pit stops that they must do. Though in saying that, actually, because we had accelerated tyre and fuel burn, they did actually make 4 stops in the race. So, but they only have to take the GP pit exit, pit lane. They don't have to go down through the endurance pit lane on AMS2. So they come out at La Source, out of the exit, and back on the racetrack. So pit stop transition times are a lot shorter on AMS2 compared to here on ACC. So on board, or not on board, but we're watching Commander Jim, currently in 2nd position, and it looks like Stainless in that Ferrari's got some pace just behind him. I really wish they would fix these controls so it could be a little bit easier. You press the trigger button, and it should just go to the cards just behind what you're watching would be a good thing to see. But we're looking at now at Stainless. Who's currently last in the race. We've had the 2 retirements already. One of the drivers. Let's have a. I'll just try and bring up the entries. And so we've obviously got, as I said, You Don't Know D in the number 46 team, WRRT BMW for Miss Apex Racing, retiring early in the race. And then I think we may have Jet. I think it was the Jet man from Miss Apex as well in the Aston Martin, retiring early in the race. So they're the 2, both from Miss Apex Racing League, which only leaves them now with 3 runners in this race. And the best of them at the moment, I think, is Ripping Aura. Actually, they might only have the 1, to be honest. Actually, no, Tanda Sport. So Tanda Sport, sorry, up in 6th position. There's a Stainless running for ANZCRL. Race hasn't gone to plan for him, but he's still in with a shot to go up this order a little bit because he's got some cars in front of him. Not too far, actually. So if he keeps it going, he's already had 2 stops compared to the 3 from Big Gill and Purple Wave. So there's a good chance that he may find himself up a few positions by the end of this race. And you can see he's definitely got some pace. He's travelling behind, I think it was the 33 of Commander Jim, who's currently running 2nd, but yet to pit. He's Nürburger. He's only 1 second in front of. We'll try and find Nürburger if we can again. There we go, Nürburger. Currently only a 2nd in front of Smooth Tommy in another Porsche. Thanks, Shot Pilot. Yeah, Jet, thanks for letting us know, my friend. So you had a disconnect, sorry, internet dropout. That's no good, my friend. And a wheel disconnect, eh? So that's a hardware issue for both people. So thanks for the info there, Jet Shot Pilot. He's one of the drivers from Missed Apex Racing League. And I'm sure they would rather be out on track if they could be, but I guess if they wanted to, they could still join in and get a few points if they can get their internet back going, and obviously wheel disconnect. So I wonder if that's actually a wheel shutdown and no good. Time to upgrade. And Nürburger goes through with a 2:21. That lap around a second off his best time of a 2:20. They're finding it a little bit hard to match some of these times from Not Fast Halley. We're looking on the back of Nürburger. And looking at Smooth Tommy. These Porsches are almost nudging that 270 kilometres an hour before they on the brakes. And look at Smooth Tommy. Absolutely killing it through Lecombe. It looked like Nürburger outbraking himself a little bit, but coming around Rivage. And it's all Smooth Tommy. It looks like he's got that pace. Oh, a little bit ragged, and just in the background we've got Smooth Tommy, but he's kept it off the wall. So there's Smooth Tommy. So no damage done, but we did see he had a little bit of the wobbles going on. So lucky for him that he kept it straight. Because he's got Tanda Sports, who's a real threat for this race actually. So we just can't keep you've got to keep an eye on Tanda Sports, because he's at the moment in 5th position. He's had one extra pit stop to the rest of the field. So could he be beating the Shakedowners at their own game here? They've chosen to go long. And let's just try and find if we can pick up without going back. Tanda Sports, so his best time is a 2:18.820, and last lap of a 2:20. So he's got some pace, as we can see there. And one would think that he will be, well, he's trying to cement that second spot. I think we really need Not Fast Halley to have maybe a little bit of a moment or something, because he's constantly will pick up Not Fast Halley very shortly. We just want to see what sort of lap time that Tanda Sports has been able to do this time around. It doesn't look like he's had any traffic to deal with. And let's see if he's knocking out some good times. Yes, a little bit faster than the previous lap, so 2:20.095. So he better that by about 1/10 the previous lap. So let's keep that as a ballpark figure at the moment. A 2:20 flat from Tanda Sports. 21 from Jim B. Not Fast Halley. See, look at that, a 2:19.9. So, well, you could just say a 2:20 flat that last time around too. So they're lapping similar pace at this stage, both in BMWs. And a 2:18.8. So we saw a 2:18.8 from, I think it was Tanda Sports, an 8:20. There's nothing in it. There's 1/100th of a second between the best lap between these two. So there you go, guys. There can be anyone's race here, as there's nothing in it between these two other than strategy at this stage. So we always say we'd like to see a little bit of strategy in racing. Not that we'd always want to do a 2 hours 25-minute race, but I think these 4 mandatory stops has definitely added a little bit of spice to a bit of the strategy, instead of just running a free sort of event where you'd probably be able to get through with maybe just the 2 stoppers, pretty much. So, but in all honesty, it was really done down in the planning here at ANZCRL, because we knew that temperature swing was going to be an issue. So we thought, well, hey, let's throw it out there. Let's give it an option to the drivers. You know, they've got to do fuel, but do they want to double stint tyres and save a bit of time in the pit stop by double stinting tyres and not getting them done? And open it up also knowing that they're going to have to pit to alleviate those temperature changes, so they can get those tyres back into an operating window. So those drivers that have done some testing are obviously going to benefit. So Smooth Tommy is in the pit lane now, which is not maybe a little bit early for a scheduled stop, to be honest. if we can try and find Smooth Tommy. We did see him have a little bit of a spin. What happened there? Smooth Tommy, oh, is that damage on the front of his car? Or is that just how it looks? I think that's just how it is. Doesn't look too bad, actually. It's just the way the car is. It's a little bit crinkled there, though, at the front bonnet. So it looks like he's had a little bit of a whack. So coming in from position 5 now as Tanda Sports moves up the position as he's coming in a pit stop. Though this actually puts him now on equal terms with Tanda as far as pit stops are concerned. So he would have done 2 stops. As I think it's Night Havoc that was just coming through. So Highlander finds himself inside the top 10 and running very well as well. So what's his gap between himself and Jim Beam? So Jim Beam is in 7th position with 1 extra stop compared to Highlander. And what's Highlander's lap time? He is doing his best laps of the race. So 2:21.5. Not quite in the 20s. Dark Racing starting to get into the low 21s as well, so that's good. Purple Wave coming out onto the start-finish straight. Knocks out a 27. So here's Commander Jim. So this has been a long stint from Commander Jim. What is his plan? I'm not too sure why he's taken so long to take his first mandatory stop, the last of the drivers to take that first stop. So what's he thinking? Is he thinking obviously to change those tyres a little bit in this as the sun goes up to keep those tyres fresh for the run to the flag, but I don't know if that's the right decision. What do you think, guys watching? Do you think he's delayed this? His last lap, oh, well, we can't count that. We should have seen it before we came in. I didn't see it, so obviously one of you guys, if you did see the previous lap before we went over the start straight, so it would have been when we first saw him coming into pit lane, I think. He might have been able to catch it, but his best lap is a 22, so he definitely hasn't got the paces of the top guys. And out he goes. So that was a quick stop just for fuel. Or was it just for tyres he got on and he's got enough fuel? Maybe he's run it with a full tank and he's low now on fuel, so he'll pump out some quick laps with fresh tyres and then come in for fuel as the sun starts coming up with new tyres or something. I'm not too sure. So he's been running for an hour 10 almost. I don't know how long these cars can actually run on a tank of fuel. Anyone know what the Audis can run on a full tank of fuel around a track like Spa, where there's a lot of open throttle? So Night Havoc in one of the Audis, obviously pitted a lot earlier in 5th position and looks like he's in a very good position at this stage. He's got Commander Jim up the road, but not fast Halley's knocking out a 2:19.5 that previous lap. We look at Jim Beam. Actually, we haven't seen much of him as he's going around. I think he may be a lap down. I'm not too sure. Yes, he would be a lap down because we've got the triangle just in front of Not Fast Halley. So he finds himself a lap down as this car here. This is what I was saying before, that some of these cars that have been selected don't have the endurance like we've seen the BMWs like Halley's. It's got that extra light down the bottom for the enduro mode, just below the main headlights. you can see it's not really affecting too much as we are looking on board here. And obviously they don't have that purple light because it's not the sprint. It's a sprint type of car where they run in the daytime. It looks like it's got enough light out there. Plus it's going to, what, 3:50 in the morning, running near 4 a.m. Fairly solid at this stage. Jim Beam though for a good top 10 finish, that's for sure. He'll be hoping to get in the top 5 if he can. And, Jim Beam, as we know, running with the ANZCRL crew alongside it's Keep It Tidy and Stainless. Sports is finding himself again in pit lane, so I think that's just for another sort of stop, so that will leave him with one more stop to make, so things may be a little bit on the sour note at the moment for Tanda Sport. I'm not too sure, because obviously you can get home now with only one stop, but he's still got that big temperature swing where he's going to have to go through. So hopefully this time he's got those tyres. Maybe set that a little bit lower. Or it could be still fast enough to actually to have it up high, actually, because that temperature swing will start to happen.
Behind the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
As we can just see the halfway mark. Thank you for letting us know, race control. I'm just going to bring up to see. So we're now at 4 o'clock in the morning, and let's get back to return to garage and have a look at that temperature. It's 16 degrees, so we saw it's a 10-degree difference from the start of the race where we started at 26, I think it was. So that's, you might think 10 degrees, oh, that's not much, but it is. The tyres do suffer from a little bit of that issue, but 30 laps at the halfway mark for Not Fast Halley, so he's on board for roughly 60 laps, maybe 59 laps. We'll see what happens. Obviously still with 3 more stops, that's going to slow it down, so I think 59 laps is what we're looking at. As you can have a look and see your favourite driver there, guys, and as I keep mentioning, let us know if there's someone that you want to see and let me know, so I just know who to keep an eye on every now and then. We've got obviously Big Gill in the pits and also Commander Jim. And that brought up Pickle up into 16th position. Tanda Sports has been able to get out in front of Dark Racing 40. And if we have a look there, which we're looking at anyway, he's 1 second behind Dark Lord, who's just in front of him. And they're all 1 lap down, as you can see, I think, on Not Fast Halley. So there's Dark Lord. So this is for position. And Dark Lord currently in 9th position. And there's not much between, I think, Highlander and Jay Tilley either, by the looks of things here. So Highlander's on a move, but let's, as Highlander's, I don't know if he was showing his lights there. As it's starting to seems to be getting that little bit lighter out there now, as it's 4:31 in the morning. And this is the part of the race where the drivers start to enjoy themselves a little bit as they see the sky starting to lighten up just that little bit. This is a nice little battle with Jim Beam. So I was mentioning before that Highlander knows the long game fairly well, and he both himself and Jay Tilley looking really good. Obviously Jim Beam 4 seconds up the road from them by the looks of things. Still with an extra stop to these two. As here comes Highlander. Ooh, that's close. As they go through the curve of Paul Freyer in turn 15. That was nice driving by both. You needed both of those commitment from Highlander and Jay Tilley. And Jay Tilley did see the little bit of the danger there and gave Highlander a bit of room. And finds himself just in front there, so that's good from Highlander, up into position 6, but Dark Lord still holding Tanda Sports at bay in position 8 as they're coming up to some lap traffic, and his Tanda Sports coming down the inside, pulls it up at the bus stop. Nice smooth move by Tanda. As Dark Lord, that was a bit, he obviously wanted him to get through because Dark Lord is coming in for a stop. And that's because he's seen his competitor Jim Beam pit in as well. So he's following a same sort of strategy as Jim Beam. But he's also got one less stop than Jim Beam. So this is a good move by Dark Lord, knowing that he's only going to have that one stop left after this compared to Jim Beam needing 2. Doesn't the Ripping Auras car look great in the Aston Martin, the number 97? I love it. I absolutely think that's one of the best looking cars. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. What do you think? We've seen a few of the different liveries already. But this one here of Ripping Aura, number 97 Omen Racing. Well, I only just caught up on that chat there. That is amazing. So, you've all seen that if you're watching the stream, that when we pick him up, the Tanda Sport, rumours are, and maybe they're not rumours, he's only 14 years old. So, definitely a big future in the sim racing world when he's matching the pace of the man leading this race at the moment, not Fast Halley, who, as I've already mentioned, won the Bathurst 1.2 hour earlier in the year here at ANZCRL. He's absolutely flying. Now, will we see him eventually come to PC and be one of these guys that you see on YouTube a lot, doing well in the sim world, professional sim racer? Maybe like a Jardia or someone like that. Waving and talking and doing all that as he's racing. Don't know how they do it. But yeah, the young people coming into the sim sport. And yeah, he's obviously showed levels year in front of what he really is at 14. So good level head on Tanda Sports. And a very mature brain for a 14-year-old. So awesome driving. And hopefully that may even bring him into real-world racing too. So only 14 as a drive-through penalty, Jim Beam. So I wonder if that's track limits being extended. Well, that's probably what it is. So the McDonald's car, unfortunately, is going to have to come through the drive-through, maybe to pick up a chocolate thick shake on the way. A couple of nuggets. So he's obviously just got the car of Dark Lord just behind him. So we may have seen that drive through from when maybe making a move or something going on there. It looks like Dark Lord though is having a move down the inside, but he's going to be on the outside of Blanchimont. Is he going to make this stick? This is going to be, who's going to blink? And it's obviously been Jim Beam around the outside. I mean, Dark Lord around the outside. Before Blanchimont, so here we go. This is the interesting time though, as the sun starts getting up and the temperature starts coming back into the track. We're we're going to start seeing these drivers needing to pit again. So, and here we go, right on cue. So let's have a quick look to see what the temperature is on the track at the moment. 17, so it's starting to creep up. Saw it at 16 degrees. Maybe got down to 15. We didn't see it on 15, but the drivers see now that the temperature's starting to rise. So we've got the two BMWs following one another down pit lane. And the car leading is Jim Beam, which we think may be taking his drive-through penalty, which will actually not be counted as one of his mandatory stops. So he's going to have to still come back through this agonisingly slow pit lane, 50 kilometres an hour. Yeah, so it looks like that's exactly what Jim Beam's doing. He's doing his drive-through to clear that, as Not Fast Halley puts it into his bay. But it's going to be this man who's going to take the lead of the race. So Nürburger in the Porsche. It's a big welcome back to Nürburger. He's been out of the sim racing for quite some time. Ran quite a lot with us here at ANZCRL in Project Cars 2 days. See, that game's had a slow death as it's no longer available in store on the Xbox game, unless you buy it up second hand. But obviously then you can't buy all the DLC that we'd like to run around on that game. So he took quite a little bit of a break, but he's come back, reached out saying, where are we all racing nowadays? And unfortunately, a lot of us here at ANZCRL have slowly moved to PC. Racing on Automobilista 2. So you can see us all on our website. You'll see the link on our Twitch home channel, all the links to our Facebook group and also our website. And you can see what we've been up to. We've been around since 2016, solely for Project Cars 2 originally, and expanding now obviously into PC and Automobilista 2, as we said, and hopefully run a few more of these special events on Assetto Corsa competitions only for the Xbox. But I tell you what, I had a little bit of excitement seeing the guys over at ANZCRL looking to run monthly or a month and a half, maybe every 2 months, a little inter-club battle like what we've done here, but as a driver swap. And they have got their Nürburgring 4-hour next weekend. So it's like a little ad break as we go through there. Just make sure you have a look at SimGrid on the website. If you're not familiar, it's a site where you can use to see leagues that are hosting events, and you can join that way. So you'll have to sign up with SimGrid first, and I believe that entails you finding your Xbox ID tag, not your gamer tag, your number tag or whatever it's called, and there's places that you can search to find how you get that. And I think even on SimGrid it actually tells you as well. So you do that on your subscription to sign up, but Not Fast Halley is still in the lead of this race, so he's had that pit stop, and Nürburger hasn't been able to get in front of him. So that's the type of lead Not Fast Halley has got. So it's just amazing, isn't it, at this stage? So yeah, 16 cars I believe at the moment are signed up and for that event next weekend. And hopefully a couple of our ANZCRL guys will get a late entry in. As trying to stir a few of them to get involved. I would be one that would love to race if it wasn't for me recovering from my back surgery, but that's a different story, because we are here now trying to see if Dark Lord can find himself. He will get himself up here into position 9 as the other two drivers are in pit lane, but I think they may be coming out. I'm just trying to see. They're still motoring down by those grey dots. They're not moving too fast, so they're stationary in pit lane. I think one's come out, so you'll get into the top 10 with Keep It Tidy still in pit lane. So they were having a good battle, him and Jay Tilley earlier. Jay Tilley in the Porsche. So obviously with Jay Tilley now on new tyres, or tyres that's still getting up to pressure, it's something that obviously we'll see they can catch. But Highlander, 2 stops down, 2 to go, with an hour, just under an hour remaining of this race. And you'd think that maybe he'll come in round that lap. I reckon you'll probably find him coming in with around 45 minutes remaining, and then maybe take his last stop with 20 minutes maybe. And that'll really set him up for the run. So a great effort. He's qualified in 11th, Highlander, and now running 4th. So that's a really good run. As Keep It Tidy, he's aiming for a top 6, I think. Dark Racing will be happy with the top 10. Dark Racing qualified though in 7th, so he'd probably be a little bit annoyed having that early pit stop that he had for damage, which threw out his strategy that he would have had. But that's what you've got to do for endurance, is you got to have plan Bs, you could say. You got to know that some things just don't fall to plan most of the time in endurance racing. As Purple Wave in 15th position for ANZCRL. And it looks like we've had another driver drop out as well, unfortunately. As the sun's well and truly coming up now, as it's breaking almost to 7 a.m. in the morning. As look at this battle now, Commander Jim and Ripping Aura. And this is for position because they both pitted twice with 2 more to go. So here it is. The battle is well and truly on between these two. Sit back and enjoy. And Ripping Aura has actually had a really good run in the Aston as well. And we know that Ripping Aura is running with Miss Apex. We've seen that a couple of times. It's one of my favourite liveries, the 97. Omen Racing. Oh, and look at him trying to find a way through from Commander Jim, who had a little bit of a wobble. And Commander Jim obviously feeling the heat here as the sun's now well and truly coming on way up. And in goes the pits as Ripping Aura. So Ripping Aura takes the opportunity to go into the pit lane. So he's looking for the undercut. And it'll more than likely work, I'd say, because let's go into the garage area where you can see the temperature up to 19 degrees now. So it's slowly rising every couple of laps. It's going up a degree. So that obviously starts putting more and more pressure into the tyre as it starts to get hotter. So Tanda Sports there in 5th position, only 5 seconds behind Highlander. And we've got Stainless in 17th position. They started with 20, so we're down by 3. Not too sure who may have dropped out. We'll see where we might have a little bit of a battle going on. We've got Tanda Sports. We'll maybe keep an eye on him because he's fairly fast at the moment. And he's trying to catch Highlander. And who's he got behind him? Dark Racing, who is a lap down. 12th position, maybe 2 laps down. As Highlander's gone in the pit lane, so we've been robbed of a little bit of a battle between these two, but a 2:20 that time around. So let's have a look. Tanda Sports, a 2:20. And let's try and see if we can find... Smooth Tommy's doing a 22 that last, so we've seen a 2:20. Nürburger 2:20. I'm trying to find Halley, who's leading the race. So sorry about the switch. Here we go. So he's done a 2:20 as well. So there you go. And he's actually, during the night, he's actually bettered his best time by a little bit. He was at 2:18.81, I think it was. So it's now 2:18.807. But again, the 14-year-old in second, or I think he's not quite second at the moment, but effectively will probably be second, as he's had an extra pit stop to Nürburger. And yeah, running the same times as Not Fast Halley. So Not Fast Halley will be feeling pretty confident at this stage with 53 minutes remaining. And what we're thinking, maybe around about another 20 laps. So impressive form by Halley. And in Shakedown, he's obviously the man to beat league racing on a Tuesday night. If you're free on Tuesday night, make sure you hit up Shakedown on Facebook and get amongst it. They have a very good league running on Tuesday nights, and they're currently into their GT3 Pro, and I'm sure they're open to entries, mid-season entries. So any of you guys that are also running in other leagues, if you feel the urge to maybe try a different car within a different league and you've got some time to do some extra testing, it's a good option to maybe have a look at Tuesday nights. And then obviously on Wednesday night we've got ANZCRL, Australian Xbox Racing League, and you find them on Discord and the SimGrid, as I've already mentioned before. So they're Wednesday nights for their league, and I think they're oversubscribed, so you're very lucky to even get a grid spot with them on a Wednesday night. They have a grid of around about 30 each week, so probably the biggest league here in Australia, ANZCRL. And then obviously Missed Apex Racing League, MARL. Now they run some multiple nights, but their main night is Sunday, where they run their GT3. And they'd love to see some of the support there on a Sunday night as well. Ourselves at ANZCRL, well, we don't run any leagues here on ACC at all, or the Xbox console anymore. If a game title comes out that interests us, we may look at it, but I'd say that'll be down the track. So we are going to look at Forza Motorsport, but I don't think it's going to be for league. There's going to be tons of Australian leagues with the Forza Motorsport game. And it's never been really our style, but we may put on some fun little things there if it looks wheel friendly and a bit more sim for us all. Other than that, we're probably waiting for the WEC game, the WEC, I think they call it, WEC, the World Endurance Championship game that's been rumoured to come out on PC hopefully by the end of the year, and then morph its way to consoles, and that could be an option for us here at ANZCRL. But until then, we love to support these the other three leagues. As I said, Shakedown on Tuesday nights, AXRL on Wednesday nights, and Missed Apex Racing League on Sundays. And I think Jet may be able to let us know, because he's from Missed Apex the other nights. I think they maybe run on a Friday night, something there, and they used to run also on a Tuesday, if they still do, maybe a Porsche Cup or something like that. But anyway, the main GT3 stuff is separated, which is great. So if you like your GT3, you can do 3 different leagues if you want throughout the week. And see how you go amongst the various leagues on offer here in Australia and New Zealand. It's very slim pickings, really, compared to our European counterparts. So it's really up to the ourselves, really, as a community, to help all those leagues. Because they're not around, they don't survive without member support and participation as well. So all the league administrators for those different leagues I've mentioned really appreciate every little bit of support that all you racers show. And same here at ANZCRL, we really appreciate all the 20 drivers that signed up for this event. As I said, this is our second special event for the year, so we don't do too many. So some of the drivers in different leagues that we're sort of a bit of unknown, so I'm glad you had some faith to come and join us. And you can definitely see the competition is absolutely fierce here. We've got some very fast drivers from a whole range of different leagues on display here tonight. And this man here, as we've said, probably got a very bright future as jet shot pilot alluded to earlier. He's a young teenager and doing some good things early on in his hobby on a console. So the world's his oyster, you could say. Maybe he might be one of those lucky drivers that can start venturing into karts or something else, Formula V, get recognised, who knows, you never know. The name called Tander, tell you what, he's halfway there, isn't he? There he goes, just puts a lap on Jim Beam. What we mentioned about earlier, some good liveries. That Jim Beam car definitely looks good. There's this J. Tilley, the green Porsche. It's a fairly basic one, but it's quite striking. And he's only got that one stop to go. And Highlander has been able to get in front, so we've missed that. So Highlander, J. Tilley I think was in front of Highlander. And Highlander came into the pits, so we were hoping to see Highlander have a good little battle with Tander Sports. And here comes Smooth Tommy. A little bit of evidence, marks from a bit of rubbing that he had earlier with Nürburger. And into pit lane he goes. So he will have one extra to go. But talking about Nürburger in a second position, looking strong and great to see him in the 24. That's a car number that I think he used to love running a lot of. Maybe it was a 79 because Nürburger 79, but 24 rings the bell for Nürburger as well a little bit. But there you go. Now they can start seeing the end is near for these races. 45 minutes remaining. And just have a look at this when we're talking about Tander Sports. So he's already on one pit stop up on Nürburger and he's 10 seconds behind. So 2:23 was by Nürburger. Let's just have a look at your bottom left-hand side and look at Tander Sports. 2:20, so 2 seconds a lap faster, or 3 seconds a lap faster actually, than Nürburger at this stage of the race. So that's only going to be 3 laps and he'll be on the back of Nürburger. There's still quite a few Porsches in this race doing a good job. Big Gilson in 17th, and all he see the green mark after his race number on the bottom left. That means he's good to go. He's completed all his mandatory stops. So let's just go return to garage and let's have a actually look to see where he is. So there he's in 17th. The only driver to have completed all his mandatory stops, Stainless, who's in front of him, only just by 3 seconds actually. So he should have a spot on Stainless. Purple Wave needs to still take 2 stops, so there's 2 positions for Big Gill. Up into 15th he should be. Let's see where Jim Beam is. Jim Beam's coming through Puon. And that's almost 3/4 of a lap up on Big Gill. So he'll be close to Jim Beam in a way if he can keep the pace up. I think it's about half a lap. As car 33 has had a massive moment. Let's try and pick up where 33 is. I'm probably going over and over him, but can't even see where 33 is, I think. Is it 30? Oh, it's Commander Jim. So he had a big spin coming out of Radion. I saw the yellow dot, so he's in position 6. 2 stops to go, just like the leader. So we've got a mixed bag at the moment. Tanda Sports, we already know, he is coming in to finish off his mandatory stop. So there you go. So he's doing that early. And let's just see, we've got some support for this man, or I should say this young fella. And where is, so we've got Not Fast Harley coming through to put a lap on him, but he's still got 2 stops to make, Not Fast Harley. So this is going to be closer than what we may think, guys. So let's just see how long this stop is going to be for Tanda Sports. You can see the triangle down your bottom right, just overtaking now to put him a lap down. But that's going to clear all his mandatory stops, as will for Dark Lord in position 11. He's coming down pit lane as well. Oops, he just missed his bay. He had to hit reverse quickly. So he's there for a little bit, so you'd think that he's getting fuel. He's definitely getting fuel to the end, and he will be getting tyres on because there's still that temperature change. We're still going to have about another 4 degrees change in temperature, which is enough to probably have to click, when you talk about clicks, probably about 5 or 6 clicks in your tyre pressures that you're going to have to change. So getting close to almost 1 full PSI difference that you're going to have to change from that temperature change. So there you go. So he's out now, and the leader has just gone over past Puon. Going into turns 12 and 13. So it's a fair way. There's Highlander just getting onto the back of Tanda Sports, but obviously with that extra stop, but not effectively for a what is for a race position. But after the end of the race, there's still a little bit behind these two. There's a bit of a gap. Just getting a little bit balked there with the big Bentley of Pickle, but Pickle's done a very good job, as it was a very tight situation and he was sort of holding his line, which was asked for all the drivers. So to be fair there on Pickle, when it gets a little bit technical when and it's all a little bit like that. We wanted all the blue flag drivers just to be predictable, hold their race line, and hopefully get off the throttle a little bit out of a corner. Once they come out of a corner down a bit of a straight, just a little bit of a lift once the car behind gets settled to make it a bit easy for him to overtake. Oh, and there he goes, running very wide out of turn 15. So not fast Halley is a lap up on Nürburger. Where is Nürburger? So he is just coming through into Stavelot at the moment. So he's still on the same lap once he crosses start-finish line. So that's one thing. Again, ACC, all games have their little perks, I reckon, but I just still can't gather why it's still saying he's one lap down. I know he hasn't crossed the start-finish line yet, Nürburger, but effectively he's still on the race on the same lap. Because as soon as he goes over the starting strip, that one lap will disappear. So it makes it hard, because you've got to try and base it on where they are at that point. So I'm pretty sure once he goes over this start-finish straight, he'll then that one lap will disappear until Not Fast Halley comes over the lap. So there you go. So again, he's on the same lap, and Night Havoc, he's actually a lap down, because you can see there as he's coming on through Stavelot, and Not Fast Halley is actually coming into Blanchimont right now. The 4 drivers have taken their mandatory stop. So who's your bets on, guys? The guys that are watching or tuning in and out, I'd like to know who you think is going to be the top 3. Obviously Not Fast Halley looks like he's a safe bet to be in that top 3, but who else is going to be there? Will we see this man Tanda Sports up there? He's got a green to his name, so that means his mandatory stops are completed. Will he see himself up in that top 3? Will Highlander, who's still got to make one stop, will he find himself in the top 3? He's been having a great race. Qualified in 11th, up into 7th. What about Smooth Tommy in the Porsche? There's Night Havoc's in his pit lane, getting service. So let's see, and he's coming just through the first corner at La Source, so he's going to drop from position from Smooth Tommy. So Smooth Tommy is now in the top 3. Once he goes through the first sector, that will be, which is at the end of the Camel Straight. I'd assume that he should be up in the 3. So this is like a Night Rider car of Smooth Tommy. There's a weird livery. Actually, there's a couple of liveries here on the game that I find a little bit off-putting. They don't have any number boards. They're very plain, but they're under an official race name. And so you sort of think, why is that? Why haven't they, ACC, why didn't they actually just put a number board on there? And it seems like they wouldn't have been able to race like that, so it was like it was a show car or something like that. So thanks, Shock Pilot, you wreck Halley, Tanda and Dark Lord. And for a first 4, you've got Ripon there. Okay, so that's a good prediction. I do like that 97, as you've heard me say, of the of Ripon-Aura. Let's just see. Let's bring up again. Let's see where Ripon-Aura is at the moment, in 12th position with a green tag as well. So yeah, you think a Dark Lord will be there as well. So we've got Highlander just in front of Ripinora. Obviously a lap up. And also with a extra pit to go. So sort of shows where Highlander though is as well. So I still think Highlander's going to be a good chance of one of these top positions. Oh, and saying that, put the mockery on, get into pit lane. He should have just gone into pit lane. He's lost some time there. He should have just gone in there. But, maybe he wasn't quite ready. But he hasn't lost too much time, to be honest. But could have been that opportunity to go in the pits. And always change your strategies going down the long pit lane, especially through the GP circuit. You've got time to start filling around. Ensure you got the right strategy, but we're starting to see a few greens start popping up everywhere, so things are going to start changing. Let's have a look to see where the man who's actually organised all of this for ANZCRL. So it's a big thank you to this man. Why did we go there? Dark Racing 40. So currently in position 8 with another stop to go. So a lot of thanks can go to this man, and he runs with Mr. Apex Racing League on a Sunday, as that used to be our main night here at ANZCRL. The Project Cars 2 was on a Sunday night, so it was a good transition for Darky, as he can't commit to midweek races due to work, so at least he can still get into the hobby that he loves, and he doesn't have to get into the organisation side of things, which is probably a little bit of a relief, or a little bit of fresh air, I should say, from Dark Racing. He's a good little organiser as well, Darky. He's been doing it alongside me for a long time at ANZCRL. And he always knows what to bring to the table to make a fantastic series work. So here he is now, getting rid of his final pit stop. You should see probably drop in a few positions. There's a Purple Wave just fighting that rear end of that car. And he's got Smooth Tommy just behind him. As Commander Jim, look at him taking a lot of curb through Blanchimont. And lucky to hold on to that. He's pushing hard, but time's running out. He needs to come in. I don't know why I don't know if you can see the figures there, but he's got 2 stops to make, and the time's getting thin now. Almost half an hour left on the clock. So don't forget, guys, this is an inter-club battle, and ANZCRL threw a little bit on the table for the inter-clubs and offered a free 1 month's rental server through G-Portal to the winning league. After all the points are added up from the drivers that are representing the league. So 30 points for first, down a point per position after that. And we'll add up the points between the team drivers, and the team that comes out on top will be awarded the G-Portal rental server. At this stage, it looks fairly good towards, it's going to be close, but you've obviously got Not Fast Haley from Shakedown leading the race. Panda Sports, who we really do think is going to come second for Mr. Apex Racing League. And it's a mixed bag for third. Dark Lord is obviously for Shakedown. Rippin' Aura for Mr. Apex. We've also got Smooth Tommy. We can't forget Smooth Tommy from Shakedown. He could get in the mix there too, but I think there's a lot of Shakedowners in the top 10, so they'll be scoring some decent points. And there's a mixture of ANZCRL cars there as well, so it's going to be close. And that'll obviously all be announced over on our website at the end of conclusion of this race, more likely into tomorrow, once everything is settled and done up. And then obviously announced to the leagues. But obviously the results will be posted to all the league organisers, administrators, and all you guys will find out how it all went in your own league, or come and visit us back on our website tomorrow sometime. As Commander Jim's just received a drive-through, so that's because of track limits. So his race has just turned to worse now. So, and he's got 2 stops yet to make. So he can pretty much say goodbye. And he's going to be lucky to stay in the top 10 with those that extra drive through that he's got now. So Night Havoc in 6th, Not Fast Halley. He's in for one of his. He's got one more stop to do after this. That surprised me. So while he's in pit lane, we might as well go into pit lane and let's have a look to see exactly where Tanda Sports is. So he's back on the lead lap with a green going through Lecom and coming up to the Rivage. Great corner, this one. I love it. Seems to, you come in, if you come in too hot, you understeer, you're wearing your tyres out. Brake too early, you slow through it. Oh, it's a good corner. It's all downhill as well. But here we go. So Tanda Sport currently in 3rd position. And we've got the leader back out on circuit. And he's, as we said, he's just gone through sector 1 and going into the hairpin in your top right, or your bottom right. The triangle. So there's a little bit of distance between them, but there's another pit stop that Halley needs to make. But again, has Tanda Sports pitted too early, and will he start seeing now the track temperature at 30 degrees? I think when I was saying this track started at, yeah, maybe it was 26, 27, but it was in the afternoon. So the track is up now at 30 degrees. And this is where now it'll probably start to drop a little bit and just drop down to around about 28 maybe. So it's about a 2 degree difference. Oh, as Tanda's made a mistake. Into the chicane. To the bus stop. So he's got himself going again. As Nürburgring's in pit lane. So this should give a 2nd spot now to Tanda. So you can see as here comes Nürburgring out of pit lane. He was one of the last pit base, so he's going to get that power on. Up he goes up El Rouge and into and out the exit here of Radion, and there is Tanda Sports. But the thing that Tanda Sports can see, even though he's got that car in front of him of Nürburgring, as he's closing that gap fairly quickly, is that there's an extra stop for Nürburgring in front. We're looking around about 10 more laps remaining of this race. About 3/4 of a lap difference, maybe not that much, maybe I'll say a bit more than that, between Tanda Sports, who's behind Nürburgring here, fighting for position 2 on track, but Not Fast Halley is up the road by roughly 3/4 of a lap. So, but with one more pit stop to go, so we know it can be pretty tight. About half a lap roughly for a pit stop with the transition. Question will be, what will Halley do? Is he just doing tyres and a bit of fuel, or just the required fuel drop? As see, this is what's happening. We've seen Ripping Aura now with a drive through. So that's because these longer races, the track cut penalties start to add up, and you find that also on the PC side of things when you start doing 10-hour races with driver swaps and things like that. Those track cuts add up fairly quickly in the end during the race, and you start getting yourself drive-throughs, and it costs you a lot of time. And then that's what ends up happening when you similar pace to some guys in the endurance scene. Drivers that can avoid these track limits will come out on top. It's a good thing about also these endurance races. It's you're obviously there to try and win, but it's also that challenge. It's just finishing in its own is an accomplishment. And you know, you're driving without getting these drive-through penalties. See, that's the thing. What's No Fast Halley got? Is he close to any penalties? You've seen him with those lap times, and he's pushing for that fastest lap. Has he extended some of those track limits? And is he on his last warning? And if he gets another one, could be trying to overtake a back marker or something like that, and that could cost him. That would cost him the race, because at the moment, Tanda Sports, have a look down the inside of Nürburger. Nürburger holding strong here in second position. So just past midday now in the game time. Should be finishing this race around about 4 p.m. At the moment, Nürburger's really holding up Tanda Sports. And here comes Tanda Sports, having a look down the inside, but doesn't make that stick. Nürburger's sticking it strong, but he's got to be careful track limits. He can't keep going wide there. He ran wide at Stavelot. I think he was just within track limits there, and he's really cutting it fine in this defending. He's free to do that, but theoretically as well, as Nürburger will understand this, he needs that extra stop, so he's going to lose his position eventually. Let's see if we can now just go on to, on board here with as a car comes out of pit lane, Commander Jim. Now after that drive-through penalty that he had, he was in 6th position, now in 9th, so he's got 3 positions. So we're right on board Tanda Sports. Battle for 2nd position with him and Nürburger, but Nürburger, as we've said, needs that one extra stop to complete the mandatory 4 stops during this race. And I really think that it's worked out fairly well for these mandatory stops. We've seen a different strategy from different drivers, and we're on board one right now. He stopped a lot earlier, but he's got similar pace to what we've seen from the leader of the race, Not Fast Halley. Tanda Sports is definitely in the hunt for a bit unlikely victory, but I tell you what, if something goes wrong, we just mentioned it earlier, any drive cuts. End up getting a drive-through penalty, that'll be the end of Not Fast Halley's race, and it'll see Tanda Sports on the top step. But likewise for Tanda Sports, he doesn't want to run wide. He doesn't want to risk the track cut penalties either. We don't know how many he's on, how many strikes he's had. Bit of aero wash maybe tucked under the back of Nürburger here, as he's showing a bit of nose, but maybe also just coming off the braking out of the racing line. Protect these tyres a little bit maybe. But this is the battle on track at the moment. Eventually what will be 2nd position for Tanda Sports after Nürburger does pit. Nürburger's holding pace here at the moment. Slowing down Tanda Sports a little bit with 221.1. We've seen Tanda Sports in the 20s on a clear track. Obviously that 2:18.820, not that far off the fastest lap from Not Fast Halley, who's done a 2:18.807, I think it was. Last time we checked. Oh, pushing the car, getting a little bit ragged. Going to have a quick look to see where Smooth Tommy is. We'll just see what's going on here. He's flashing his lights. Tanda Sports, he's starting to get a little bit aggravated behind Nürburger. Just got to keep his cool. He's having a look down the inside here. Nürburger is a tough driver, but look at the space. But oh, and they've come a little bit to a touch here, side by side, glancing here. We're not too sure how much, but it's Tanda just being gentlemanly like and letting him through, giving him a little flash. But obviously he wants to get by. He's catching, I mean, he's getting caught behind here, Nürburger, and losing time to Not Fast Halley, who's now coming up through onto the start-finish straight, and he's been closing this gap to almost be in front of the whole field by a lap. As we said, that pit stop will probably stop that, but we're going to see at this stage at the moment, I think only the first 4 cars on the same lap after this race, so it's been a very hot pace. But not Smooth Tommy. On the back half of the circuit. So he's in 6th position and not 100% sure where he stands compared to the rest of the field. So there's our leaderboard at the moment. The track is still climbing up 33 degrees, so it's still climbing. Dark Lord now has got to drive through penalty as well, so he's serving that penalty nice and early, so that's going to drop him down. Now where's Dark Racing 40? He's coming around through the fangs. So you can see the bottom of the screen, the 111, the greyed out car moving slowly, going into the La Source hairpin with his drive-through penalty, and here comes Darky in 10th spot. So Dark Lord has also completed his mandatory stop, so this is going to be race on. As Commander Jim's still got to do his one extra stop yet. I'm not too sure if they're actually on the same lap as one another, maybe not. So that's one thing I just can't understand the time board, so I apologise that, but Not too sure if Darky is actually anywhere near Dark Lord or actually a lap down. So he could be actually a lap down on Dark Lord, as Dark Lord's come out of pit lane now. There's Commander Jim's in pits. So let's have a look. So yes, it is for position here, 3.3 seconds. And it's closing. So here we go, Dark Racing and Dark Lord, the two ANZCRL drivers, battling for 8th spot. And Dark Lord had to just serve a drive-through penalty. Or one would think would be the track cut penalties. So again, a big thank you to this man, Dark Racing 40, for setting up this 2 hour 25, Spa 2.4 hour race. And we also appreciate all the support we've had from the 20 drivers that have spared their time here on a Saturday evening to challenge themselves. And currently we have 17 drivers in the race still. Now what's Darky got in store? Has he got anything left in the tank? The carrot is dangling in front of him to get into the top 8. He qualified in 7th. The race didn't pan out how he would have liked at the start, of course, in his early pit stop. But he's battled through the night and worked his way up through the field, and now finds himself with a good chance of coming home in 8th position. And he's going to have a good battle for the last 12 minutes between himself and Dark Lord, and they know each other fairly well. Race extensively together or against one another here at ANZCRL. So 12 minutes remaining. Let's quickly just have another quick little look. So we've got Not Fast Halley. Tanda Sports has finally got through on Nürburger, who is coming to the pit stop. And Not Fast Halley has had his pit stop. So where are they in relation to one another? So we've got Not Fast Halley coming up into the bus stop and going through that. And we've got Tanda Sports going through Puon. So probably half a lap the distance. So at this stage, with Night Havoc needing to take a pit stop, the last driver, actually, other than myself, Woody Lizard as a spectator, still needs to do 4. I think I've already had those pit stops, to be quite honest. But yeah, so we've got Night Havoc coming up down through past Sector 1 and into Rivage Turn 8. And let's just have a look to see where Nürburger is. So he's not too far away, so he will find himself into 3rd position. Nürburger, so a nice run by him. And then not too far away, only 8 seconds or so behind is this man, Smooth Tommy. And Highlander is just coming onto the Kemmel Straight there, so coming to the end of it, into the first sector. The end of the first sector, I should say. So if any of these drivers cop any sort of drive-through, we're going to see some position changes. Other than that, I think the closest thing that we're going to have a battle for is between Smooth Tommy and Nürburger. We have 10 minutes remaining. Let's have a, let me go and have a little look to see what we're looking at. So last lap was a 2:21 from Smooth Tommy. We'll stay on board with him as he's just gone through Sector 2. And we'll keep an eye on that the distance. At the moment, 7.6 seconds it's hovering between him and Nürburger. So this will be the battle for third position, because we know that the car in front needs to Night Havoc, who's in pit lane now. So there we go. So Night Havoc has taken his final stop of the mandatory stops. So that will bring 3 shakedowners into the top 3. Into the top 4, sorry. Can't be the top 3. That means all of them in the top 3. So we've got obviously Tanda Sports in second at this stage. Oh, Jay Tilley, how's he going? He's got Pickle, who's a lap down, obviously in 13th, just behind him. Where's Night Havoc? Is he coming out of pit lane yet? So this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be close between Tilly and Night Havoc. Night Havoc's still in pit lane. So Jay Tilly will move up into 6th position as well. So there you go. So Night Havoc drops into 7th as he's just coming out of pit lane now. So he's going to have fresher tyres with 8 minutes remaining than Jay Tilley. Now Jay Tilley just did a 2:24 that previous lap. So we'll have to wait for it all to settle down, but we'll come back to this because Jay Tilley may not be safe in 6th position. Tanda Sports with a 2:20.5, so still the one of the fast cars, him and Not Fast Halley, the only ones that really managing the 220s throughout the race. 2:19.5, thank you very much, that previous lap for Not Fast Halley, so he's just extending this gap. Absolutely brilliant drive by this man. He really hasn't been troubled through this race. The first stint was, wasn't much between him and Tanda Sports at all. There was about 3 or 4 seconds around lap 10. So the first 10 laps or so, Halley really knew that he had the competition there. But again, it looks like Not Fast Halley may find himself on the top step of these inter-club battles. As Jim Beam coming in for an unscheduled stop. So this is obviously for fuel or tyres or maybe some damage. It looks like a bit of front end damage to that car. So Jay Tilley is definitely struggling. So there you go. There's been a second already gained by Night Havoc on Tilley. And Pickle wants to actually get past him. He's got the pace in this Bentley. It just shows that these drivers have pace at different stages of the race. Endurance mode is a totally different beast. That's nice, I was removed from my own party. At least we're still going here on the stream, guys. We've got just over 5 minutes remaining. And we are on, I think we're looking at Pickle on lap 55. I think we're on a little bit more than that. Jay Tilley, so here he goes. 6 seconds the margin between him and Night Havoc with 5 minutes remaining. Let's try and find Smooth Tommy, and that's 5 seconds between him and Nürburger. So that's all happening the late part of the race for these minor positions. So Smooth Tommy would love to see himself on the podium and sharing the champagne with his good buddy Halley, Not Fast Halley. But he'll also be happy to see Nürburger as well, I think, as well on the podium. But no driver would really want to give that up if they don't have to, so he'll be working hard. Oh, there's been a problem. Nürburger's had a spin. Nürburger at La Source has had a spin on his own, I think, and that's cost him third position, and Smooth Tommy actually did hit him. And who's that going past? Is that Halley? Not Fast Halley. He's just put a lap on third place, so there's only 2 cars on the lead lap. And Smooth Tommy has actually got a damaged car. Now, where's Nürburger? He's dropping down the order. Highlander's got a chance to be in the top 4. Because Nürburger, I don't know how much damage he's sustained there. Oh, he's had a big moment. Big moment as he kept it off the wall. Nice driving, but those tyres will be red hot. Thanks so much, Jet Choco Pilot. I really appreciate that, mate. I'm getting to the end of it all, but Nürburger, I think he's going to. Here comes Highlander, and Highlander's down around the outside, so Highlander's made that move. And what I was trying to get at is Nürburger's tyres will be red hot. They'll be like balloons. He might as well be in the circus. So, Smooth Tommy. Well, Purple Wave in 14th position just in front of him, but obviously a damaged car, but he's only got under 3 minutes remaining to get to the end of this race. So let's go and let's see Ripin Aura. He had that unfortunate drive through the court, put an end to his charge into the top 3 or 4. So he's just trying to hold off from Commander Jim, who's behind him in 11th. So that vital top 10 spot is going to go down to the wire as well between these 2 drivers. Stainless in 16th, just on his own. Dark Lord holding off Dark Racing 40, still in position 8. So Dark Racing has slowly closed that gap, but not enough. Just don't think he's going to get there. But you never know.
The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
So the final lap of the race. And we only got 2 cars on the lead lap, so this is amazing. So these guys here have got another lap to go. So the battle is still on for 8th position. Highlander's picked up that 4th position. Keep it tidy in 12th, running on his own. And this man here is trying to hunt down fellow teammate Dark Lord. In a different car, but when I say teammate, same league. And absolutely smashing. I reckon we're going to find Dark Racing 40 actually in 8th position before the end of this race. Nürburger down into 7th. So he's dropped more places. And it looks like he's had another spin. He's losing time. Those seconds are just counting down, left, right and centre. What is happening to Dark Nürburger? Oh, he's got a very beaten up car. Where is he? At the bus stop. And he looks like he might be out of fuel. He could be out of fuel, people. So he hasn't calculated the fuel number. And these drivers here are going to pick up 7th. So the battle for 7th for Dark Racing and Dark Lord is going to go for 1 more lap, guys. But it's this man here, Not Fast Halley, who we've got to pick up as he's coming down past Stavelot. So these guys are on their last lap. And Not Fast Halley, he's had a spin, or is he... What's gone on there? So I don't think the race is finished. It's still green. It's still live. We got 4 seconds remaining. Here it is at the end of the race is now. And so Not Fast Halley went to go for a bit of a drift, it looked like, and got it all undone. So that's the only mistake he's had, and it was just got caught on the end of that camera shot. But well done to this man, Not Fast Halley, in the number 28 ST Racing BMW for Shakedown. And he's got all the time in the world to do his drifting, so well done to this man.
The leader has finished the race.
And Nürburgring knew that he didn't have enough fuel to get to the end, so he ran it and waited for the leader, so well done to this man. And let's try and pick up, just be careful of the donuts, my friend, but Jay Tilley will come home in fifth, but Tanda Sports, here he comes for second. Dark Lord looks like he's going to hold on to 7th position. But it's going to be this man. The only other car to finish on the lead lap will be this man, Tanda Sports. Smooth Tommy's already finished in 3rd position. Well done to him. But it's this man in 2nd position. The only car that stayed on the lead lap, Tanda Sports for Miss Apex Racing League. Well done to the young teenager. Well deserved. And you definitely put a good show on for everyone out there. So Jay Tilley, let's have a look. Night Havoc end up coming home. Dark Lord, he's only 1 second in front of Darky. Darky's got nothing left in him. So it looks like Dark Lord's going to hold on to this 7th position. What a great effort by all the drivers, the 17 drivers that have finished this race. Unlucky to the cars that didn't make it. Darky, last ditch dive at the bus stop chicane. And there you go. There's the order, guys. We'll try and bring up. Oops. Bring up the timetables. There we go. Oh, what am I doing here? Pressing the wrong buttons. It's been a while since I've had to do this, guys. So here we go. So 1st position, Not Fast Halley for Shakedown. Tanda Sports for Miss Apex Racing League. 3rd was Smooth Tommy. Highlander in 4th position. Nice run from Highlander. Qualified in 11th and all the way up to 4th position. So good job by him. Jay Tilley in 5th position. Awesome job from Jay Tilley. And then Night Havoc in 6th position. And don't forget, Night Havoc, I believe, started in pit lane. So good job by Night Havoc to come all the way up into 6th position. So give him good credit for that.
Green light, green light. Go,
That's
go, go.
the end of the race. So hope you enjoyed that, guys. I've been your host, Neil Haynes, for ANZCRL. Congratulations to the winners, Not Fast Halley, Tanda Sports, and then Smooth Tommy. Congratulations to those guys. Until next time, cheerio everyone.